we go.
Cause you can
Feel my heart break.
And if you
Hold me close.
then you can
Let my heart sing.
that amplified noise you poured inside my ozone was so prone to homegrown my own voice. And letting you roam was such a poor choice. I'm nothing without your pores. I love that old joy. And ever since B left me, she won't speak unless I speak first. I'm still stressing over her.
All right. Here we are, dude. Hey. Here we are, Staying with Trouble. Another episode coming at you.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well, the first thing I want to jib-jab about is I don't know if people really pay attention to the intro to the show on iTunes or anything like that, but we changed it up a little bit. When we started this podcast, we were aiming more towards kind of middle-aged dads, stuff like that, and which are still good topics. Still, we're not like completely abandoning those ideas, but kind of the thing that we wanted to do was kind of open it up for everything else. So our little saying in there is, life in Las Vegas, on and off the strip, how families and people are dealing with life here in Sin City. So we're going to be hitting up on all those different topics.
We got a couple of different speakers coming up. We've got some mental illness. I'm really worried about depression and suicides rocketing up because of the tragedy. So we got Josh Silito coming in to talk to us about mental illness later on this week. You got your trainer coming in.
Yeah.
And that's completely changed. Gyms are closed. Bars are closed.
And that's something I want to get in with him is talk a little bit about what can we do on our own. Not everyone has a home gym. I don't have a home gym. So what can we do?
I think they're called sidewalks.
Sidewalks? Whoa, there's parks, sidewalks, trails.
Yeah.
They're called home stairs. You can walk up and down your stairs. There's some things we can do, but we're going to jib-jab about that. So
Kim Kelly, Austin, thanks for looking in. Christina, looking in. Hey, just one of the topics that we're going to talk about today is, is business all folding? Is business all going to hell in a handbasket? And everyone wants to know. And so one of the things I looked at earlier today was, who are the biggest employers? Can you name the biggest employer in the state of Nevada?
the U.S. government.
No.
The state of Nevada.
No.
Casinos.
Nope.
Man, I'm striking out.
Clark County School District.
Is it really?
Yes.
Well, today was day one. We had all the kids, woke them up early, had a breakfast, and then we started on like all the schooling. We logged them into their school, their classrooms. They had some live sessions this morning, did all that. So this was day one of homeschooling all my kids, and I'm trying to figure out how to transfer them all out of my class.
Yeah.
I'm done. Day one.
Yeah, a big part of that is, so the reason why I bring up the school district as the largest employer, you've got MGM just announced that they're going to continue, their paychecks are flowing. Wynn said their paychecks are flowing. And so for a 30-month period, I think you're going to see a large amount of the largest employers, not just in Clark County, but in the state of Nevada, and most of the largest employers, obviously. I've called major execs from all most of the largest construction companies in town, and guess who is closing their doors? Not a single one.
Oh, they're working. They're building.
Yeah, they're building.
Good.
7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. If you're wondering who's getting up, going to work, they're probably in construction. And so you've got construction industry not shutting down. You've got the school district, albeit the schools are closed, teachers are still collecting paychecks. Although MGM is closed, workers are still collecting a paycheck. And so for the interim are we booming? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. But the time is to be calm. There's going to be an abatement. They just announced, HUD just announced that there's going to be an abatement of foreclosures, which means you can't even get foreclosed. No, there's not going to be a huge glut. I had a few people who called me and they're like, Eric, when's the foreclosures coming? I'm out shopping right now. And guess what? They're not coming. Okay?
Wait. Explain that a little bit to the normal person.
So
So they're not like if people go negative in the next couple months or something like that, the banks are not going to foreclose on it.
banks are not going to foreclose. So in 2008, right, I would knock on people's door. Knock, knock. Hi, how you doing? I'm from, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, or Chase. And then, in about a year and a half after that, in 2009, the tenants are like, whoa, we had no idea that the owner was behind. Well, then after that, we had other things like, I said, well, hey, the bank's going to give you $3,000, $6,000. The biggest check that we cut was $12,000 for a home in Summerlin, who said, hey, you move out of your house, the bank will give you X amount of money. Those days have all since passed. And now, even if people stop making their payment in April, it will be 2 years. And so before we can even get around to any evictions or foreclosures. And HUD just announced today that for sure people are in their houses for a year, even if you stop making your mortgage payments. Plus, we
don't suggest that.
We don't
We
suggest
are not
that.
saying that.
But on the flip side is you also have, a large, bailout coming. They'll probably end up, mailing us $1,000 checks. And really, it's actually a more difficult time for landlords, to be honest with you, because now if people are, if they know they're safe from eviction, but they're getting money from the government, is how does that all play out? At the end of the day, jobs is what rules the day. And so the sooner that we can get past the virus, the sooner that we can open the cities back up, and not just Las Vegas. We're watching New York intrepidly. The numbers are still going up. The virus is still making its way through New York. So you've got New York, Seattle, Las Vegas, LA, San Francisco. You've got all these major metropolitan areas throughout the country that are still reeling and not even understanding what we should do.
But testing is not available for everyone. That's the problem with the numbers. Is
And
everyone keeps going back to the numbers, but not everyone is getting properly tested. I don't think that's available for everyone yet.
It's not. And they're saying, hey, the ER is not where, don't come to get tested from the ER. Go to your urgent care, go to your primary doctor, because a lot of people just have the flu, or a lot of people just have allergies. Mm-hmm. And so it's hard to distinguish between, and some people have latent symptoms, right? And so,
see, that's what I'm afraid of here in Southern Nevada. I went on a run on Sunday, and I do my favorite trail out towards Railroad Pass, and the hills look green. There's flowers booming.
Yeah.
All this rain that's coming in, and I guess we're supposed to get a little bit more rain. Once this rain is gone and the sun comes, the desert blooms this time of year. So allergy season just goes off the charts because all these flowers, the desert flowers, the plants, the grass, the trees, everything starts coming alive again once the weather starts warming up a little bit. So I'm like, yeah, it's going to be interesting.
it is. And I see, I've already talked to a bunch of friends this morning, and they're like, hey, I have my seasonal allergies. But going back to economics is, I'm getting the number one question right now is, hey, Eric, should I close on my home? Interest rates are probably going to go down in 2 weeks. We're going to see the low threes. It's almost basically no interest. So if you can lock in a 30-year or 15-year, some of the 15-year rates will be at like 2.5, 2.85.
This is the time to do it, huh?
Yeah, this is the time to do it. If this is where you're going to live, you got to live somewhere, like at the end of the day. Unless you're going to be, a traveling, living off the land, move forward. The things I was getting at with the fact that MGM is not cutting the payroll, the Wynn is not cutting the payroll, is they're all hoping for a 4 to 6 week turnaround. That, yes, we're not having the NFL draft here, but if we can just get back to, mid-May and start having events, start opening up the casino floors, start opening up their restaurants, start opening up, places for people to meet. If we can get back to those services, we can get back to the valley flowing again.
Yeah.
And that's just the valley on a local level, but that's also on a macro level. They're talking about bailouts for the airplanes and different industries. The tourism industry as a whole has really just been burnt to a crisp.
Oh, yeah.
So Expedia just did layoffs, and whatnot. And so it's just a matter of, okay, for people that are laid off, are they still receiving some type of assistance? In every state, you got unemployment. The unemployment offices are completely overwhelmed right now. And so you have a dichotomy of, we've got thousands of people in the unemployment line, and you've got not enough people in the offices to work those unemployment checks. And so, those checks could take weeks to even distribute anyways. And so as far as financials go, though, every lender, if you have a credit card, call the credit card company. They will do a forbearance. They will let you go. It's already pre-negotiated. You're not going to have to like some super ninja negotiator to say, hey, no, as soon as you say, I live in Clark County, Nevada, they go, checkbox, forbearance for you. And so that means you don't have to make that interest payment. You don't have to make the payment. And so most creditors are moving in that realm. And so what does that do? That means more people can actually hold on to their money. They can buy the necessity, fuel or food that they need to get by. This is a time to just get by. This isn't usually a time to profit. But even then, if we have a third, one of the largest industries in Nevada is still working and pumping out paychecks just like clockwork, that means people are still going to be, they're going to be in a great position because they're actually going to be bringing in money and then nowhere to spend it. Like literally, like most of the stores are closed, and so they're in a unique position where this is the time for them to store up. And so you got those two bases coming together. So the economy is not, it is ground to a halt right now, but it'll be quickly revived in about a month and a half. So just because the paychecks are still flowing, this is a great time to, slow down, take account of your life, maybe
save some money,
put some money,
away,
put everything you can away, and tune everything up.
I think if anything, this is a huge lesson on preparedness, personal preparedness in our lives, from food storage to just being ready for this kind of stuff, even having some money set aside, some goods set aside, and not only that, have a little plan. Know what you're going to do as a family. Understand what you're going to, how you're going to feed them, this and that. We realize that when there's a panic over a condition, the shelves on the stores are empty.
Yeah.
I mean, people go nuts.
Welcome to America.
Well, why not be the one that's prepared and ready to go? It's definitely opened my eyes. My wife and I would keep getting this food storage, and we'd buy the boxes and stack it in the garage or put it in a closet in the house. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know what I have. I got to do an inventory. I got to see the dates on them. I got to see what I have, what I'm working with, and kind of start doing a little count. I've never done that. A sale would come, I'd buy a bunch, put it away, and let it sit there.
And that's the other part is, that's pantry goods. And so right now it's meat, produce, like the fresh stuff. But listening, if you look at Italy, is even though they're in dire straits, the store shelves are still not bare. They've still got the supply chains coming in. And that's what's important is that, as much as everyone's worried about what we import, our food basis mostly comes from the United States. And so there's plenty of food. And that's really what will sustain us.
That's someone else that's working around the clock, are those truckers.
Yeah.
Hauling stuff. I mean,
I heard him this morning.
If you're a truck driver, if you love this show and you're a truck driver, you tune in, man.
Give us
Keep
a
it
honk.
up. Yeah, right.
Bonk, bonk. So that's what I wanted to get on, because I'm getting asked this question all the time. Should I cancel? Should I move forward? The stock market is in a dire place right now, which means if you sold, you're selling your stock at a loss right now. Mm-hmm. And so
so you're saying the best thing is just to hold still.
Hold still, stay calm. Hang tight. Government programs are coming out daily. All those details are coming out. And as more they come in, my recommendation is try to take advantage. They're out there to support us. You're not going to get hurt for, taking advantage of what the government is setting up. And so, if you're in contract on a house and this is a house that you're planning on buying, realistically, you got to be quarantined somewhere.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you know what's funny is like we've all, if you have kids at home, you have just become a teacher.
yeah,
And I won't lie, some of the skills, like I was struggling with some long division. Like, wait, what goes next? Because we don't do that.
yeah,
We don't do that. So trying to teach the kids, so now all of a sudden I have a newfound respect for the hard work that teachers put in.
Well, it's not just the lessons too, though. It's the curriculum. You know what I mean by curriculum is hey, at so-and-so at this time we're gonna do this. At this time we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
At this time we're gonna do this. And
Keeping their attention.
Yeah.
Focused on what they're supposed to be focusing on. But I do want to do a little shout out to Pinecrest at Cadence. We did a drive-through. Man, they were on point. They got all the kids their schoolwork. They all were able to log in. The teachers were in their classrooms. All the kids logged in online. It was absolutely wonderful. I mean, they're working hard to keep up. So hopefully none of the kids will fall too far behind that they don't have to make it up over the summer or mess them up. The only person I do feel bad for, like my daughter and the other seniors that are out there.
Yeah.
This being their senior year, they're worried about what's going to happen, like when it comes graduation time. Any of us who were able to graduate high school, which is probably most of us, that's kind of a rite of passage. You putting that cap and gown on, you're hanging with your friends, you go through that whole ceremony type thing, and it's just a fun event. And for a lot of people, like myself, that was the only time I did that. I didn't graduate from college, so that graduation was my graduation. That's the only one I've had. So it's a big deal. And I had a long talk with my oldest daughter that's a senior this year, and she feels kind of ripped off and kind of jaded a little bit because she's not having a typical senior year.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of seniors out there that, I heard rumors they may just post the diplomas to the house and that's it, if this gets any worse. And I feel bad for them.
Yeah. Well, I just want to get on today and answer that question. Is this a time to buy? Yes, it can be. If you've got a stable job and you're not going anywhere, if you're going to stay in your job post coronavirus, yes. If your job isn't going anywhere, if you're a teacher or if you work for a supply chain, whether it be bank, stores, railroad, transportation, trucking, then it's absolutely a great time to buy. Interest rates are going to be super low. And the only way to get the economy back up will be once we get out of the virus and get the country back open, will be to raise interest rates. And then everyone will look back and go, oh, I wish I would have taken advantage. For those that have a semi-decent rate, if you have a 4.5, 4.3, 4.2, is the general rule of thumb is 1 basis point. So if you're at like a 4.25 and interest rate's 3.25, absolutely refinance as soon as possible. If you're in a adjustable rate, move to a fixed rate. They're just as low. And so that's my advice for today.
Good. Oh, that's good advice. A lot of people probably wondering that. I mean, I know a lot of people who are, I guess, laid off or not working right now, and some are receiving paychecks, but I bet they're wondering, what do I do with my home? And if they're renting a home, what if we can't make our rent? What if we can't make our bills? I mean, there's a lot of serious questions that are going through people's minds.
Yeah, I'll be online for anyone that wants to private message me or comment. I've been posting. I'll be posting quite a bit on daily.
You stepped up your social media, man.
I did. And so I'm doing that just because I get a lot of personal phone calls. And then instead of just keeping that information to myself, I'm actually trying to share that information. Mm-hmm. And in that way, people have a better, I want to help people make better educated decisions. And so this is a critical time right here, and I'm trying to step up and share some of the knowledge that's been that I'm able to gather up. So
Sweet, man. That's awesome.
all right.
Right on, man.
All right, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Rooftop Realty and Blue Coolers. Give them a shout out. Blue Coolers has 72-hour kits still available. You can order them online. Listen for our sweet jingle if you're listening to the podcast. We've got a couple other things coming up. Like I said, we've got a trainer coming up. We've got a mental health issue coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about suicide and depression during these rough times, how we can help other people make it through those times. Dr. Silito is going to help us out and give us some perspective on what we can do to help others around us. Adam, is a good episode. Let's keep our light bright.
And check us out on social media. Eric's not the only one that needs to step up his game. The podcast is going to step up our game on Instagram and Facebook and start posting some stuff out there that's some good information. So follow us on that, and always hit us up on iTunes and Podbean.
Peace.
See ya.